Alright, welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be reading some crazy confessions that I found off of Reddit while I'm playing some Minecraft. For those of you who are new to this, basically I find some crazy stories that I found off of Reddit, and then I play some Minecraft, and then I give my own opinion on the matter or the story that I'm reading, and that's pretty much it. So let's get into it. And of course, if you haven't already, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I really enjoy doing this, so more videos on the way. Alright, so the title of the first story we're going to get into is I have a crush on my girl best friend, but I've got a girlfriend. Alright, so the story starts off like this. Me, 19 male, went to a high school with a girl, we'll call her A, for 4 years. In that time we grew a friendly relationship. I was single at the time, but she had a boyfriend. I then made myself a girlfriend, we'll call her B, and my girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years. It's been good, but I've always continued to talk to A even though B didn't like it. And after a while, A broke up with her boyfriend and started hanging out with me more. And I liked it, but B hated it, so I decided to go away from A thinking that my couple would be better without A. But I still think about her every day, in a romantical standpoint. I recently started to talk again with A. I even went to her house without B knowing. Nothing happened, we just talked. But every day I wonder if I would be happier with A rather than B. And I'm almost sure that A has some feeling for me too. What should I do? First of all, I just want to say sorry because the story has a lot of grammatical errors, so I tried to piece it together in a way that you guys could understand it better. Also, the girls are referred to as A and B, so if that was a little confusing, I do apologize. It's just how that person wrote it. But if you're asking for my opinion on this, yeah, you need to break up with whoever it is that you're with at the moment. It seems like, yeah, you had a crush or you liked this girl before you started dating the girl that you're with right now, but that doesn't give you the excuse to go over to this girl's house without telling your current girlfriend. I just think that's incredibly disrespectful to someone who, like you said, has been really good to you. And I think that at the end of the day, if you still have feelings for this other woman, then you don't like your current girlfriend. You're not happy with your relationship. You can't have feelings for two different people because that's extremely unfaithful and unloyal to the girl that you're with right now. And like you mentioned in the story, like you are young, so it's not a huge deal, but at the end of the day, you gotta break things up with whoever it is that you're with, because you've already violated her trust. You've already done something that is not horrible. I mean, as you mentioned in the story, you didn't do anything with this girl when you went over, but you didn't tell this girl that you're with at the moment that you went over to this other girl's house. And I think that's a huge violation of trust, like I mentioned. And what's the point of being in a relationship if you're just gonna go behind your partner's back and do stuff like this? I think at the end of the day, the number one thing I would do is just sit down with your current girlfriend and tell her how you feel and tell her the truth, because it's not fair to this other girl that you're with to be dragging her on in this relationship. You're dating that girl, and so you should be faithful and loyal to that girl that you're with at the moment. Alright, so moving on to the next story, the title of this one is I'm gay and I think DEI is stupid. This one's on the shorter side, but let's get into it. It starts off by saying, I think the principle is there, but in actual application, it falls flat. I don't think I should be hired to meet a quota. I just want to be seen as a regular person. But it makes me being gay more important than who I actually am as a person when practice. I'm also generally left-leaning, but I'm just not a real big fan of this whole policy. Although this story is kind of short, I think it's a really important one to kind of like read, because I feel like at the end of the day, does really anyone care about DEI? I mean, I feel like most people don't really care about it, in the sense where like people don't really care what your sexuality is or the color of your skin, rather than, you know, people care about the kind of person you are. Are you nice? Are you funny? Are you hardworking? And I think DEI is mainly seen in like media or any type of like social media, movies, TV especially, and it's kind of forced in a way where it just doesn't feel natural. Like, absolutely there are people who are part of that community, but do those people actually identify with the stuff that they're putting out? I mean, I feel like it's kind of an excess. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a specific percentage of that small community anyways. Like, I think at the end of the day, I think it's important to include everybody, no matter what your sexuality is or what your race is or whatever it is that you are as a person. I think that we should be, you know, judging people based off the merit of their own character rather than, you know, their sexuality. And I think there's like a general consensus out there that DEI is responsible for like women or people of color to have the same opportunities as everyone else. And I'd have to disagree. I feel like over time, people have cared less and less about, you know, like I mentioned earlier, the color of your skin or what you believe in or, what you do behind closed doors, especially your sexuality. I just find that stuff to be so weird. Like, who cares what you do behind closed door or what your sexual preference is? I just find that to be so ridiculous. But I think it is definitely overforced because I think that these companies, like and you see it especially during like the month of June where, all of these companies change their Instagram logo to a rainbow in the background, right? It's just a way to sell extra product. They don't really care about these communities. And I think at the end of the day, it just kind of trivializes this community rather than actually lifts them up. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not a super political person. I'm not going to dive into it. But I think the general idea is that nobody really likes DEI. Alright, so I went ahead and I found this one right after the last one, and I'm not gonna lie, this one's pretty juicy. So the title is, I wish my best friend was a girl. So this person starts off by saying, as the title says, I wish my best friend was a girl. I've never met a girl who has all the qualities he has. He is cool. He is, in quote, cute, not in a gay way. He is smart, and he's been my friend for the last 12 years. I've never been so close to someone as I've been with him. And I just wish he was a girl so I could take this relationship we have to the quote-unquote next level. Like marrying him, having kids and stuff. I hope one day I find a girl who has all the qualities he has. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and summarize it for people who might be lost. Basically, this guy is saying that he wishes his friend was a girl because he's really close with him and he just really likes this guy as a friend. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think you have a little bit of an attraction to this guy, but hey, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think at the end of the day, you need to kind of come to terms with the fact that you might be attracted to this guy, or this person in general, because you say not in a gay way, but the fact that you're talking about him, that he's cute, that he's cool, that he's funny, that you wish that he was a girl, like, you might be thinking about him in a way that you're not realizing here, but I just find it funny that you say not in a gay way. I think that's really funny. Funny enough, as I'm actually recording this, I found a comment underneath this post that kind of sums up what I said earlier, and that is, in the most gentle of ways, I feel like you're in love with your best friend. I've never wished my best friend and closest friends were the opposite sex. Did we talk about growing old and being old ladies together? Yes. Helping each other raise children? Yes. Creating community? Yes. Did I ever wish she was a man so we could be together? No. This kind of just proves what I'm saying about how you have this kind of attraction towards your friend, and I feel like the whole imagining them as the opposite sex is your brain's way of kind of doing these mental gymnastics of coping with the fact that you may find this dude attractive. You may just have feelings for this guy, and that's totally okay, but just take a moment to kind of think about it because, like this person said, have I ever really thought about my friend in that way? I've never personally imagined my friend as the opposite sex so we could quote unquote be together. I'm not saying that's like a weird thought to have. I just think it's kind of rare to have. And I feel like it's your brain's way of being like, yeah, I like this guy, but maybe if she was a girl or maybe if he was a girl. No, I think that you genuinely just find this guy attractive and there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a difference between like having admiration for your friends and their personal qualities. Like, of course, there's a bunch of things that I really like about my friends. They're funny, they're smart, they're hardworking, but never have I thought about them being the opposite sex so we could be dating. So I think at the end of the day, just kind of think about whether or not you are attracted to this person or not, and, kind of come to terms with that for a minute. Alright, so this next one's actually a pretty long one. So the title of this is, I want to cheat on my wife. God damn, dude, just the title itself is kind of crazy, but let's get into it. Alright, so bear with me, this is a long one like I said, but it starts off by saying, I'm not sure if this will be approved for very long, but I'm not sure if there's more proper place for this. Without explaining too much about someone who wouldn't want to be spoken about, I'll keep her a little vague, but still provide enough context. So, me and my wife, both 22, have been married for 2 years and 2 months. A little early for sure, but her situation and out background kind of warranted that. We've been together since we were 11, and grew up together. She's not the same person anymore though. She's drank since she was 17, but it was never excessive. Like, only on float trips or camping. But as she got older, she drank more and more. Now she's an alcoholic and drinks about every night. She has a hormonal imbalance and depression. I know I've said I keep it vague, but this is context. And she said that she needs a drink at night whenever her medicine runs out for the day. It's been bothering me for about a year, and now she's also started vaping. She doesn't make enough at her job to support what she does, so I'm usually supplying her. If y'all understood my situation more without spilling too much, you'd understand that that's not an option for me. She's never abusive, she's never hit, but we've had bad fights that really only happen when she's drunk. She also wants to punch things when she's super angry. We have 3 holes in our house we're renting. She has boxing gloves now and punches the bathtub or floor, and she's been through therapy twice and nothing seems to work. Tried to talk to her about her cutting back drinking and ended up in one of our biggest fights, and her saying that if I wanted her to stop drinking, it's never going to happen, which makes me worried if she would even stop if we were going to try to have kids. I should also say that she's only ever in the mood when she's drunk. In the beginning it was fine, but over time she became more and more messy / sloppy in bed, and it wasn't enjoyable for me, as well as the feeling is, goddamn, there's so many grammatical errors in this, as not feeling like the right thing to do. And whenever I say I'm not in the mood, she persists a bit, and when I don't give in, she gets mad, rolls over, and instantly falls asleep within 5 minutes, as that's how drunk she got. For context about me, I don't drink or smoke or anything like that, but I don't mind if people do it around me. That's not my life to live. As long as they're not blowing it in my face, I'm okay. But it's hurting me financially. Now, recently, I've dreamt about 2 women, a crush / ex, and another random girl in my dream. I don't know if that's a result due to what I'm going through and my brain trying to make it better or what, but since then, I've longed for something else. I've worried that if I got married too young and that I don't have any time to explore the world by myself, I definitely can't explore what it might be like to be with other people. And that's absolutely selfish of me, but I don't know what to do anymore. Alright, so I'm going to stop reading it from here, because there's just so many grammatical errors, and I'm not going to bother trying to put together 2 sentences because this guy refuses to use a period. But about the story itself, I think this guy's wife has a major issue. Obviously, she has some mental health issues because she's drinking excessively to the point where it's become basically a huge nail in the coffin for your relationship. Like you said, you guys are super young, so you guys really don't have any experience in the real world, and I am young myself. I'm the same age, so I can kind of give some experience on my own, and because of the fact that we're the same age, I can definitely say that you guys are way too young to get married, in my honest opinion. Now, that's your guys' choice, obviously. I'm not here to, talk about that, but the biggest issue is not the fact that you guys are young, it's the fact that your wife has a serious drinking issue, and it's basically killing your relationship, because it changes who she is, and that's what alcohol does. It turns you into a completely different person. It just changes the, whole chemistry of your brain. I mean, it turns you into a messy, sloppy, dirty, aggressive person. And obviously, if you've been around people who drink alcohol, when you get drunk, you're not really the best you. So I think the biggest thing she needs to do is check herself into rehab, and any type of therapy or whatever is obviously not enough. I think she needs to go to rehab. Now, onto the part about where you've talked about how you've dreamt about other women in a sexual manner. I think that's really kind of your brain coping with the fact that your relationship is pretty much going down the toilet at this point. You guys are in a really bad spot, and I think that if she's not getting the help she needs and you're doing everything that you can to help her and support her, then it's on her. And I know this sounds kind of messed up, but there's only so much that you can do, right? It's kind of 50-50. It's important to help people who are struggling with addiction, with drugs, with alcohol, but it's also their responsibility to get clean. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, she needs to go out of her way and to seek help and actively make sure that she is getting better, because this alcohol issue is ruining your guys' sex life. It's ruining your guys' relationship. It changes her mood. She's not the same person because of this issue. And why would you want to be with someone who is not the person you married in the first place? So yeah. And unfortunately, I think this is the downside about people getting married this young, is because even though you're 22, you still haven't fully matured out of those problems or out of that immaturity. I'm not saying that being an alcoholic is a type of immaturity, because it is a serious issue that a lot of adults of all ages go through, right? But I think because of how young you are, and again, I'm the same age, so I'm not damn bro, fucking lock in. No, you really need to just accept that you guys are young and that you guys are going to make mistakes and that nothing's going to be perfect, but you have to both understand that you have to make the effort to get better. And you, as the husband, you need to make sure that she's doing her half, and herself, the one who's struggling with this issue, needs to make sure that she herself is making the best steps to get better and to end this problem in total. And if she doesn't do that, then I think you seriously need to consider this relationship as going down the drain. I think you need to look into your future and really think about, is this person making me a better person? Is this healthy? Is this kind of ruining my life? Because if it continues to do so, then definitely get out of that relationship. Definitely look into a divorce, but give it some time. Hopefully she gets better. I wish you guys the best. Alright, so that is going to be the last story, and that's going to wrap up today's video. If you guys like content like this, then definitely consider subscribing, because I really enjoy making content like this. I think it's super fun, and it's really interesting to give my take about this. I know a bunch of you guys in the comments last video said that you want longer versions of these videos because you really like them. So if you guys like longer videos or you want longer videos, definitely let me know down in the comment section. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Peace out.